Hi everyone, it's Heather Burkhart with the Milwaukee Prenatal Yoga Community. Welcome. This video is for anyone who would like to practice prenatal restorative yoga with us, whether you're a teacher trainee, taking one of our programs, or an expectant parent who would like to experience this yoga practice with us and hopefully continue this practice on your own, whether you're at home practicing or perhaps working with a yoga teacher. So again, today's class is a restorative practice. A restorative practice is fairly restful. We have lots of props handy to support the yoga posture so that we can relax in them. So props are important if you can take a moment to gather some. I've got a couple of bolsters. If you don't have these, couch cushions, firm couch cushions can be really helpful. I have a couple of blocks, and you can try to use books or something a little bit that has some structure that might be less heavy. And I also have a couple of blankets here. So we'll be using the props throughout our practice to support us so that we can relax and get the full benefit from the yoga postures. Before we begin, we will move our bodies, but even before we do that, we'll take a moment to land where we are and center ourselves. So to do this, it's kind of like a beginning meditation. You might grab one of your blankets, you might fold it up a little bit, place it under your seat so that your hips are lifted and your legs can be relaxed on the ground, perhaps maybe with knees supported. Something we teach in our training that can be really helpful is to take a blanket and roll it up, like if you can get into the longer snake like this, and then gathering it under the knees. That may feel a little better. So first, taking a moment to greet ourselves. My mic is right here, so I'm going to place my hands near my heart center. Welcome yourself to this practice. Take a moment for yourself to notice how you feel. Closing your eyes, or if that's not comfortable, lowering your gaze softly downward. Just checking in with yourself. How do you feel? What is it that you feel? What's coming up? What's showing up in the physical body? And also noticing the other layers of us that are showing up. Emotions, thoughts, feelings. Giving lots of space for all of that because it is all welcome here. Feeling your breath now. Maybe you feel a gentle rise and fall of the chest as you breathe. So checking in with your heart. Ayurveda, we believe this is the true source of our intelligence. And when you're ready, moving hands down to your belly to greet your baby. Any babies on board here and welcoming them into your practice. Getting a sense of the physical body. Also honoring emotions and feelings that arise as you check in. Everything's okay, just allowing things to be as they are. And again, giving lots of space, everything's okay. You might notice how your breath is showing up through the movement of your abdomen. This is your diaphragm moving up and down as you breathe. And as you inhale, it's pushing your abdomen along with baby out towards your hands. Just noticing how that feels. Now that we have a sense of ourselves, a sense of connection with baby, bringing our hands together, palms pressing, back to the heart space. And now that you've created a sense of connection, is there something that you'd like to invite to your practice today? Whatever it is, giving it plenty of space for it to show up and grow with you in this practice and maybe for the rest of the day as well. Maybe now we're linking the breath between the belly, ribs, and chest, taking full deep breaths in and out. Filling yourself completely up on the inhale, and on the exhale, emptying out. Drawing baby in towards you for a little hug. Allowing your intention for this class to be infused with your breath, infused with your energy. As breath is the vital life force, as we know in yoga. Maybe there's that gentle ujjayi breath that helps to soothe our heart, our soul, and that of our babies. If you know that breath, you're welcome to layer that. It's a gentle constriction of the back of the throat that creates a whispering or ocean-like sound. You can take an open mouth exhalation to get that feeling in the back of your throat. And then trying that with the mouth closed. That's the quality, the sensation that we're looking for. It's a very gentle constriction because it does constrict a little bit of oxygen flow. We want that just to be in a very soothing, gentle manner. Now we'll begin our practice with the sound of Om. The first sound of Om being Ah, and then O, and finally So we'll do that on the exhale, making that exhalation as long as we can. And in chanting Om, we're bringing these three sounds together, weaving them together to bring balance in body, mind, and spirit. As you're ready, and of course, if you feel uncomfortable with this, you can simply just listen and enjoy the vibration, the sound of Om. One of the most ancient and healing sounds that we have in Ayurveda. When you're ready, we'll add some arm movement to this. So taking a big breath in, reaching for the sky. Looking up only if that feels good. And as you exhale, letting out a long ow. Allow your hands to float down to the heart space and begin again with another inhale in. Last time. Inhaling in. Bowing your head towards your heart, your own heart, and your baby's heart. We also vow to honor the tradition from which yoga comes to us, to thank all of the teachers, and the practitioners that have come before us, who have passed this wisdom along, so that we may share it with them. A moment of gratitude before we dive in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now inviting some movement into our bodies, very gently and lovingly moving props out of the way. Coming to standing. Finding a stance at the top of your mat and facing you so that you can see me this way. Finding strong mountain pose, we build our practice from the ground up, starting with our feet, lifting the toes to feel that energy striking our feet. And that turns on the muscles of the legs. Bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the low back. We feel the pelvis as we do that, coming into neutral position. I'll turn to the side just for a moment. Bring the pelvis to neutral. We're not so much tucking the tailbone, because it might produce this kind of position. Rather, letting the tailbone drop down to the ground, still honoring this curve in our low back. And so when our pelvis is neutral, we're offering that stable cradle for our babies. And perhaps you'd like to bring your hand, both hands to the belly as we experience mountain pose together. If you haven't already, fanning out the toes and lay them down on your mat with energy to grip the mat, feeling the arches lift, the leg muscles still turned on. And connecting with the energy that comes up to us from the earth. Feeling that strength, grounding. And releasing the hands, letting the shoulders roll forward, up and back to open the chest as we allow the arms to release to our sides with the palms facing forward, so that our arms are externally rotated here to open the chest. And from the space of the pelvis, the spine lengthens up towards your crown, the crown being the very top of your head. Now, if you're holding a lot of tension here, see if you can soften a little bit, still keep the energy in the legs and the feet. And finding a place in each pose really of comfort and ease. That is an important tenet in prenatal yoga, but yoga in general. Sthira, Sukha, Asana, strong, steady, sweet is the pose. Finding the sweet spot in this pose, and you feel connected, you feel strong. There's also a sense of ease. Each breath lengthening the spine, giving you and your baby a little bit more room. We'll do a few more with sun breaths here. This time with just an open mouth exhalation. Inhaling, reaching the arms out and up. Looking up only if that feels comfortable. Exhale out of the mouth. Just like that a couple more times. Last time. And now this time, as we bring our hands down, we also bend knees to come into forward fold. Making sure the feet are stepped nice and wide, giving lots of room for baby to come through. Again, inhale. Think of your body becoming a full body wave. Maybe that exhalation becomes a little bit more gentle now. Bending your knees deeply, still grounding through the feet. And we would like to take the arms out wide as you come forward. Stretching the arms behind you a little bit to help open the chest. And now we'll hang forward here. Now if you're far enough in pregnancy where it's going to feel uncomfortable to come all the way forward into forward fold, you can bring elbows comfortably down the tops of your thighs, feet nice and steady and wide. Dropping the tail down now to relax the low back. Bring hands together here. Leaning forward as much as you need to. A few breaths into forward fold. Maybe coming all the way forward feels really good. Keeping the knees bent here. You're welcome to use a couple of blocks for support. Letting the upper body go a little bit. Relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. Maybe even straightening out the legs one at a time feels good here. Get some energy and release in the back of the legs. Turning from side to side, grabbing opposite elbows here. That feels good. Just find your own expression of this forward fold. The main idea is to get some relief from the low back, right? And then let baby's weight come out of the pelvis just a little bit. Give your hips a break. Maybe some cat-cow here. Any small movements that feel good. Tune into your body and your breath. And welcome how the energy is shifting. Coming up when you're ready, ground down through the feet. We root first to rise. Stepping forward one more time. Do a little bit more exploration here. Maybe full forward fold. Maybe feel like hanging out, supported on the legs. Rocking from side to side. Stretching into the side body. Really letting the head go and shaking it out a little bit. Nice full breath in and out here. We're going to take our time rolling up. So ground down through the feet first. Straighten the legs. Use the hands to walk yourself up. Once more, find comfortable mountain pose. Feet comfortably wide, about hip distance, maybe a little wider. Feel the energy in the feet first. You can try lifting the toes, lifting the arches, feeling the muscles of the legs turn on. Send the toes back down. Rolling the shoulders up and back. This time bring the hands together, fingertips touching. Mudra is for harmonizing both sides of the body, both sides of the mind. Bring that in front of the heart space to connect to the heart center. Moment to listen in the sound of breath. Just notice the prana, the energy that you have created with that warm-up flow. Releasing hands down. We'll make some room on our yoga mat now for building our restorative postures. And I'll offer some counter postures in between so that we can continue to stretch our bodies. Pardon me for a moment while I get my, can keep track of time here. All right, so the first pose that we are going to visit is called Baddha Konasana, Kado's pose, Baddha Konasana. I'm always working on my Sanskrit to try to offer a correct pronunciation. But again, I'm a student, I'm still learning, and I encourage you to learn the names of these postures as well, because the sound of the Sanskrit terms carry a special significance. Baddha Konasana, Kado's pose. So facing you first, I'll show you the primary pose, which is putting the soles of the feet together in front of you. For those of us who are further along, we'll want to walk the heels away from us a little bit. You might even like a little bit of padding here. Just try to be comfortable. Okay. So the classic pose, Baddha Konasana, is like so. When we're reaching for our feet, we might interlace the fingers, bring them under the feet. And instead of pressing the whole foot together, what we're doing is we're actually pressing the outer edges of the feet together, okay? So that the feet are actually opening up towards you. You can peer down and see the arches of your feet. Hopefully, that's what's happening. It might not work for all of us. So there's tension in this pose in the sense that we're gripping our feet, but we're pressing the outer rims of our feet together, but we're also lengthening up through the spine, just as we did in mountain pose, Tadasana. Forgot to share that posture's name in Sanskrit. So here, instead of forcing the knees down, we're really focusing on lengthening the tops of the thighs away from us and just allowing the knees to eventually move towards the floor if they are going to do that. Okay, so again, creating a little bit more room for babies on board, maybe rocking out side to side just a little bit to get a sense of your sitting bones. Right, so we're sitting right on top of our sitting bones. Sitting up nice and tall. Chest is wide, just as in Tadasana, mountain pose. Now, as we cultivate the breath in this pose, nice deep breaths in and out, we're strengthening the energy of Apana Vayu. Upanavalue is a force that draws downward. And this is the force that is going to bring our babies forth. And this is also the force that helps digestion, elimination, and menstruation, anything that's moving downward. So this is a really important practice for women in general, but especially in pregnancy, as we're drawing energy down towards the pelvis, down towards the root. And the stronger this force, hopefully the hope is, the easier that birth may be. So sitting down on the floor at any time, really in this cross-legged position, is a really good practice. So again, rooting down through the sitting bones, seeing if you can lengthen the spine with each breath, lifting your ribs all the way from your belly and baby, giving you and the baby a little bit more room to move with each breath. Settling in, allowing yourself to be filled with sound and the sensations of breath. You call this full breath pranayama. It starts in the belly, and then it grows up into the lungs and upper chest. So see if you can feel that wave of your breath moving up and down. And on the exhale, it's simply releasing and letting go and drawing belly and baby back in towards you, very gently so. This is a great pose to practice every day, as long as it's comfortable. And over time, notice if you can feel the Upanavalue energy strengthening. Stronger. Good. Now releasing that pose as you're ready. You might take a moment to get your feet a nice rub. I'm going to set us up with a restorative version of Baddha-Konasana. So I'm going to bring, and I'm going to give you a side view of this. Bring that blanket with me here on my mat. Then I'm going to use my bolsters so I can lean back and relax. I'm going to use the other bolster for support, just like so. Now, for some of you, that might feel a little low, so there's going to be some experimentation here for sure. So take a moment to lift your hips to make sure that the low back is released and lengthened before laying back like so. Okay. If you would like a little bit more height, then you may use blocks instead, or something that's really sturdy, or even using coming closer to a wall. Okay, so that's really nice and sturdy. If you're using blocks, then we're going to create something like this. Okay. So you have this for the height and this for some support, because some bolsters are going to sag down here in the middle. So you can even bring this up a little higher. Okay. I'm going to make sure that they're making contact there, so there's support. I want this to feel really supportive and stable. And again, if that still doesn't feel right, use the wall. So now, releasing back as you're ready. One of the wonderful benefits of this pose, we're still drawing energy down towards the root, towards the pelvis, which is lovely. We're making more space for you and baby. And again, there's a couple of options for the feet. You can bring soles of the feet together. For some of us, that's going to feel a little too stretchy on the hips. So what you might like to do is actually come into cross-legged, or if you recall that trick we did earlier with the blanket, is to use this. Actually, I'm going to use this because I already have it here. I'm going to use this blanket to wrap around me, and tuck it in a little bit, and that supports my knees. Okay. This I'm going to use, for some of us, again, we're going to want a little bit more height. I'm going to use this on the far end of my bolster to support my head. Okay. So getting comfortable. And I want to do this posture first because it takes the longest to explain, and I would like to end our practice in this way. So it's just a little bit of a practice to get used to finding comfort and ease here, allowing the chest to be open as we release our arms down to the ground, palms up. Nodding our head no. Release any tension in the back of the neck, tops the shoulders. And once again, settling in. Knowing that you can move anytime to find greater ease and perhaps you'd rather place your feet down on the ground and scoot your hips out a little bit more if there's a little bit of low back tension there. You can widen the feet, even turn the toes in and let the knees go against each other. Just play with this for a little bit right now. Find the best expression of this pose that works for you, and we'll revisit it again later. Use your breath here, taking full, slow breaths in, filling yourself up completely. And emptying yourself of breath completely. Drawing baby in gently. Or maybe you just want to work with belly breaths. Bringing awareness to the diaphragm and how it's interacting with baby. And if you're further along, if you feel like that's uncomfortable, like there's no way I belly can expand any further, you might bring attention to the ribs and focus on expanding there, because that will help you get in some more good breath. You might even lay your hands on your body on either side of the rib cage to coax those tight intercostal muscles to soften a little bit, get a little bit more air in there. And not forcibly, comfortably. Or perhaps you just want to relax there. Anything goes. Your comfort is most important above all. One more deep breath in and out here. And if you're ready to start moving, start with releasing the legs, whatever posture they're in. They're wide, bringing the feet down, just feeling the sturdiness of your feet planted for a moment. And if you're still there, you can wag the knees gently from side to side, just to stretch out and low back a little bit. Nice, slow, mindful movements. And next time you're rocking over to the right, or anyway, you can prop yourself up on the elbows first, and then walk yourself up this way. That's important because what we might want to avoid is getting up this way. Oh, It's going to put a lot of pressure on your abdominal muscles. They're already really stretched out, and also in the pelvic floor. So that doing that repeatedly, anything that when you're getting yourself up in this way, when you're on the couch, you're getting out of the car, you're getting out of bed, remember to roll over first. You can do this even when you're getting out of the car. Turn your body, use what's there to prop yourself up, and then come forward. Then we'll come back to Baddha Konasana and wag out our knees just a little bit to get some energy back into the pelvis. Nice. And you might even lean back a little bit and take some wider movements, some bigger movements with the legs to warm up the pelvis, get some more energy circulating there. Now we're going to start working with some forward folds. Restorative forward fold postures. I'm going to move this way and undo very gently, lovingly. Okay, I'm practicing for baby. Moving things out of the way for a forward fold. So obviously in pregnancy, a forward fold, our belly is going to stop us at some point. So what we want to do is open up our legs as far as it feels comfortable. You grab one of the bolsters here and place it right in between my legs. Move that there. Okay. So this is going to be my support as I lean forward in a wide leg, seated forward bend. Upavista Konasana. I'm going to grab all my props here and have them ready. First, I want to be aware of the sitting bones first, making sure I've got a nice solid foundation. Right? And as I come forward, as I tilt forward, just activating the legs just a little bit. Backs of the knees can be soft. So I'm activating my legs by flexing the feet gently as I come forward. Okay. Letting the pelvis roll forward and just noticing where it feels comfortable to stop. Drawing the tailbone down towards the mat to avoid you causing some back strain. And start to build my fort here. You might bring some blocks here. Okay. Actually, I think the best configuration is this way. So the bolster wide in between the legs. Something right on top. What I'm going to do is bring my elbows down, and my hands are going to support my head. Thumbs coming to the third eye or around the third eye, fingers coming above that to support the forehead. And again, even as the hips are rolling forward, my tailbone is releasing down like an anchor, so I don't overstretch in the low back. Relaxing the shoulders, nodding the head no a few times to release the head and neck. And settling in, you can soften the feet, soften the legs. Bending the knees here is fine. Do what you need to do to feel more comfortable. And maybe it's more comfortable to bring the feet down to the ground with the knees bent a lot. This feels nice too. Again, find your expression of this pose that works for you. Settling into your body. Settling into your breath. Letting yourself a quiet moment. And be careful not to collapse forward on top of your belly. Instead, the focus is on, even though we're relaxing, we're also lengthening the spine. So there's more spaciousness created for you and baby in this place. And we're doing that with our breath, breath by breath. If you're comfortable with both Ujjayi and Durga, you combine them to create a very soothing sound as you fill yourself with breath. Belly, ribs, and chest, and then release and let everything go. Grounding. Take one or two more breaths like that, or any breaths that feel right. Right now, we'll start to slowly come out of this pose. Wide-legged, seated forward fold, Upavista Konasana. Konasana means triangle. Triangle postures are really important for women and in pregnancy. Slowly bring the hands down to the props and rolling yourself upwards. Roll the shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall. You might take, might interlace your fingers, you're reaching high to the sky, getting a little longer. You might even stretch from side to side to lengthen out the side body. And certainly, if you want to come all the way forward here, you're welcome to do that. Make sure you're leaving plenty of room for baby. Just taking one stretch here as you come forward. Rounding the back just for a moment. Taking a breath or two there, and then slowly swinging the shoulders back. Sitting up right. And once more, finding yourself in either Baddha Konasana or cross-legged. After each pose, just taking a moment to recognize the energetic signature of that pose. Rounding, opening, lengthening. There's so much inner work going on. Because there's usually a lot of work going on with each yoga posture, we always bring in the yoga principles of ahimsa, which is loving compassion towards yourself, reverence of the body, the joy of the body, however it's showing up. Again, that sweet spot, sukha is sweet spot in each pose. Can you connect with that sweet spot? Maybe it wasn't so sweet. And that's okay. Connecting with that too. That's why this is a practice. You can come back to the poses again and again to practice the awareness, the work within the pose, and also the self-compassion. If you're ready to blink the eyes open or closed, or lift your gaze, lovingly move props out of the way, stretch out your legs, give the knees a gentle bounce, and let's flex and point the feet a few times, just to put some energy into lower legs, maybe some circles. Just giving our feet a little bit of love, our ankles. They are our support team that's doing a lot of the groundwork, and they may not get as much appreciation. So Take a moment here. And if you want, you can bring the feet wide, a little closer to you. We'll take a few more of those windshield wiping movements with the legs. Harmonizing the energy in the pelvis that we have cultivated with that pose. Good. Now, let's see what I have next for you. Child's pose, supported child's pose. So normally in child's pose, we would have the knees together. In prenatal yoga for pregnancy, we're making lots of room for babies, opening the knees wide. And for some of us who are feeling achy in our joints, we might like to have a little blanket under our seat to give us some height. And then from here, coming forward into child's pose, reaching the arms forward. Now, of course, the problem here is that babies probably maybe getting smushed. So we don't want smushed babies. We want to give lots of room. We use the bolster to give me some height. Okay, so coming here, you can cross arms, grab opposite elbows. And again, you'll see that the baby in gravity wants the hips to roll forward. And again, that's going to create some strain in the low back. So instead, we're going to roll, we're going to counteract that by rolling the tailbone behind us to lengthen the low back. Letting the hips be heavy towards the heels. So there's a gentle pushing back motion here, and that's also going to send more blood, oxygen, energy into the pelvis area. What's nice about this is if you want, you can lengthen out the arms. You get a nice shoulder stretch here. The bolster can be just far enough away, or whatever you're using, to support just the forehead. Releasing into that again. If this is too low, if baby still needs more room, use more support, right? This is a wonderful resting position for birth in between contractions. Just to be here. And maybe that's still feeling really stressful on the lower body. So another option for child's pose is coming onto your elbows. And I think I'm forgetting now, I think we call this over there, I'm not sure. I don't know why. But clasping the hands in front of you, letting the head drop. This can be really nice just to be in a neutral position. There's no weight on the lower legs. Baby's just kind of hanging out. You can try some small movements here, like hip swings from side to side. This is a wonderful position for birth. Resting between contractions. Now, if we were to do a fully supported, restorative child's pose, balasana, salamba balasana, child's pose, I am going to create more support in front of me. And again, I want to make lots of room for baby. Move forward. Lots of room for breasts growing. Making lots of milk for baby. Finding comfort here. And again, maybe you'd like a little extra padding. Like so. So we've got this top one moved away just a little bit from my breasts. Making plenty of room down here for baby. And again, rolling my tailbone back and away. And maybe it feels comfortable to rest the chin down to stretch the front of the neck gently, or laying one cheek down. And taking some comfortable breaths here, softening and relaxing into the pose. And at some point, turning your head in the direction. Just to balance, find balance in the neck. Can't lean all the way forward. Microphone. Here we go. So I'm a little upright because otherwise I'm squishing. Shoulders relax, one in the head no. When we say no to others, other obligations, think of saying yes to yourself. But saying yes to you and your baby. Like, oh, wait, I can do that later. There's plenty of time. Finding the sweet spot, comforting ease. Listen to the sound of the breath. There's a sign of mantra of the breath. And an inhale sounds like so. And an exhale it sounds like home. See if you can hear that mantra of the breath. So hum means I am. Two of the most self-affirming words that we know, probably the most self-affirming words. It doesn't matter what follows those two words. The most important words are I am. When you're ready to start moving, coming out of the pose, you can bring your hands down to the props to press yourself and roll yourself up. And if it's still comfortable to be on the knees, you can stay here just for a moment and reflect upon that pose, drawing the tailbone down towards the earth. You can always come down into cross-legged. This doesn't hurt. Just allowing the energies to settle. Checking in with ourselves and our needs once more. Now, one more before relaxation. This is a favorite of mine because it really helps to release some low back stress. Now, know that you can also do this in front of a wall. I'm going to do this from the side first, just so you can get a sense of this. The swing. So putting a bolster or roll of blanket that's nice and firm across my mat or rug, I'm going to prop my hips right on top of the bolster. Okay, and I want to, this is going to be a little high. For me, it's okay. For you, if it's just a rolled blanket, that might be better. So finding your hips right on top, I'm going to have to come off just a little bit for my little microphone pack there. Coming onto the back slowly. Take your time. Again, using some cushion for the head. And then from here, bringing the legs up. Now this is a nice gentle inversion for pregnancy because it's going to reboot your circulation system and help to move the blood and lymph in the lower legs. Point and flex a little bit. We'll be here just for a moment. Point and flex, circle out the ankles. Okay, you can even come into Baddha Konasana here on the back. That feels comfortable. And then bringing the feet down to the ground. It also works as a version of bridge pose, Situ Bandhasana. Okay, and in bridge pose, we're just, in the restorative version, we're just allowing the hips to be relaxed on the bolster or maybe a set of blocks. And then for those of us who are a little further along, if baby is pretty heavy and weighing down on us, then we can take a blanket here and tuck it under the right hip. And what that's going to do is shift baby's weight over the left a little bit and away from the vena cava. Okay, so that circulation isn't going to be compromised. Of course, we would have to be here for a long time for that to happen, but still, that might give you greater peace of mind as you relax here. Maybe bring the legs up and do whatever you want to do here that feels good. Okay, so again, as you come out of this, turning over, for me, it's going to be towards the left, using my hands to press myself. Okay, so that's legs up the wall. That way, to do it against the wall, what I'm going to do is set up like I did for Supta Baddha Konasana, which is recline bow. And we're going to create this support system for my bolster. Okay, nice and sturdy. And again, you could do this against the wall so that you feel really stable. Okay. I have my bolster out in front here. I'm bringing my hips onto the bolster. I'm going to stand up to the wall, sideways here, but then leaning back, I'm going to walk myself back and slip my legs up towards the wall. With my knees bent, and then I can roll back here. Okay. So legs can be straight, however, at some point that might not feel comfortable. You can bring your feet to the wall, feet nice and wide. You come into Baddha Konasana if that feels comfortable for you. Okay, but remember to play and look for ease and comfort, that sweet spot. And here we can hang out a little bit longer because we're in a reclined position. And this is a nice way to end class. Here, this feels really good, or if you want to return to Supta Baddha Konasana, you can do that. And just move this out of the way. I'm going to turn my bolster towards you again so you can see how this is built. And actually, I'm just going to use my other bolster because it's a little bit more sturdy. So that's one way to do it too. So again, make sure there's a little bit of space between you and the bolster, walking yourself back, lifting your hips, lengthening the low back, or you lean back. Legs wide if you'd like. I like to cover my feet. I like the under the blanket, that's nice. Bringing the knees together or letting them be wide. If you have access to your blocks still. You can place blocks under the knees, or again, if you can, create that long snake. You can use that for some cushion. If you're going to use knees wide, just make sure that feels really comfortable and supported. I'm going to lift my hips one more time to find the length of my lower back. Roll the shoulders back, open through the chest. Let the arms be released away from the body at an angle, palms facing up. Or if you want, you can grab opposite shoulders and let the arms be overhead. If you're going to use this arm option, you might switch the bind of your arms at some point. Settling in. Connecting with your body. Connecting with your breath. Noticing how your breath and your body is interacting with your breathing. Spending maybe a little bit more time here. Sinking in. And letting go. Maybe it's just for this moment. Letting go of the past. Letting go of the future. Just resting in the here and now. We can do that by keeping our focus on breath. Each beautiful inhale. Each precious exhale. Remembering to change your position at any time. If it stops being comfortable. Watch the breath is being really quiet. If you're ready, join me in deepening the breath gradually. Breath by breath, taking in more energy, oxygen from your baby. You're releasing a loud sigh on the exhale. Give yourself a little bit of love and gratitude for showing up for this practice today. Thanking baby for its participation or not. Maybe baby's taking a little nap. Taking a moment to press hands down against your thighs to get a nice stretch along the spine. Stretching a little back. And when you're ready, remember rolling over to one side, landing on the elbows, forearms, using the hands to press yourself up. A forward fold might feel intuitive here, just to come forward. The knees are already wide. Just releasing forward as long as that feels comfortable. Releasing that in. And as you're sitting up, maybe it's nice to circle out the pelvis. Finding some circular movements. Maybe coming into cat pose here, rounding the back, tucking the chin. Come back up to open the chest and releasing back again. Whatever feels good. Maybe it's a combination of all of the above. And we'll have closing meditation. So get yourself comfortable here. I always like a rolled up blanket under the hips. You might use a block. The block works really nice too. Maybe using your free blanket to wrap around the knees. Just like in yoga postures, comfort is equally important in meditation. And I should say, if you'd like to stay in the restorative pose for meditation, you certainly can. But if you're ready to sit upright, you can also sit against the wall for a little extra support. And taking a few breaths here to settle in as we continue to integrate the effects of our practice. Noticing how we feel. Giving lots of room for everything that's showing up. Giving everything lots of love. And letting it be there. You're holding space for yourself. With love, with kindness, with compassion. Whatever thoughts, feelings are coming up. And if it feels like too much, connect with the breath. Practice gratitude with each precious moment, each precious exhale. Breath being natural and soft, flowing as it wants to. And once again, honoring yourself, bringing your hands to your heart space. Thanking yourself for showing up and doing this practice, doing this work. This work of yoga that continues off of the mat. And in everything. In all of our interactions with ourselves, the baby, the outside world. And letting the energy from your practice feed you where you need to be fed. Don't worry about thinking about that too much. Just trust that that will happen. Bringing hands down to belly, honoring baby, giving gratitude. Maybe placing one hand on baby belly. And feeling each breath that unites you two. Sacred relationship, sacred connection that will be there for the rest. Bowing your head to your own heart, to baby's heart. Say thank you. I'm here for you. I trust you are here for me. We will learn from each other. Breath. Deep. Honoring once again our teachers. The great teacher that is the wisdom of yoga. Close our practice with the word namaste as a prayer and also an intention that we honor the light. We honor us and we honor the light inside of others. We acknowledge that the light, divine light within us, is shared between us all. And in short, we are unified. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Again, my name is Heather. I'm with the Milwaukee Prenatal Yoga community. Join me again for another practice. I hope to see you soon.